what you can make? Keep your dough safe. That's only if you serious about these money issues. Do you wanna know how to make your money grow? Do you wanna know? Do you wanna know? New age money makers, you know what's in you. Make this paper. You know who this speaks to. Make your money grow. It's for the future. It's that simple.
And guys, thank you so much for joining me on an exciting lesson of financial literacy. Today we're going to start the fourth section of our course, Business Finance. This one is a definite must-see because we're going to learn all about starting up our own business.
Hey, how you doing, Mampo? That's what I like to hear. How to start up my own business. Now we're talking.
Let's just do a quick reminder of the different subjects we've been looking at over the past few months. Our first module looked at personal finance.
I remember, Mampo, we learned how to open bank accounts, write checks, and even budget our money, right?
That's right. In the second module, we learned all about how banks were started. And our last module, Mandla?
Our last module was all about savings and investments, how to save your money and how to invest it wisely.
Well, our final module is going to be the most interesting and most exciting so far. Think, Mandla, you'll be learning how to start and run your very own business.
Hey, Mampo, I cannot wait. Where do we begin?
Well, Mandla, we first need to do our homework. Starting up a business is not as easy as it sounds. Firstly, let's think about why it's so important that young people like you start thinking about starting their own businesses.
That's easy. There just aren't enough jobs in the country, so we need to create our own jobs.
Exactly. The economy of South Africa is not growing quickly enough to be able to provide jobs for everyone leaving school. South Africa has extremely high unemployment rate, so the jobs that are available are often very difficult to get. Starting a business is one solution to these problems.
Absolutely. I mean, you can be your own boss. You can come to work whenever you want to come. It can be perfect.
More and more all over the world, people who cannot find jobs are creating jobs for themselves by starting their own businesses. Why do you think this is happening, Mandla?
I don't know. Is it because the population of the world is growing so fast and there just aren't enough jobs for everyone?
That's one of the reasons. Let's talk about some of the other reasons. These days, healthcare and medicines are so good that people are living much longer than they used to. Because people are living longer, they are able to work for a much longer time.
Sure, that means that they need jobs for a longer time, right?
Exactly. Think about this, Mandla. In 1980, there were 4,000 million people in the world. In the year 2000, the world's population was 6,000 million.
Wow, Mampo, you saying in 20 years, the population of the world grew from 4 to 6,000 million. That's a growth of like 20%.
That's spot on, Mandla. The world's economies have not been able to grow fast enough to support all these extra people. To put it simply, there are too many people and too few factories, farms and businesses or shops to employ them.
Which means no job, no money and no food. Please help.
Let's take a look at this chart. The circle represents all those people in South Africa who are capable of being employed. The blue part of the chart shows that 40% of people in South Africa are unemployed and do not earn a salary.
Oh, that's really bad, Mampo.
It's bad, Mandla, but these figures were from 1998. Things have got even worse since then.
Yo, so you're telling me that these days there are even more people with no jobs? Why?
That's a very difficult question to answer, Mandla. Different people will give you different answers. But one important factor has been the spread of HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is having an extremely harmful effect on South Africa's workforce. Quite simply, we are losing trained and productive workers to HIV/AIDS every day, and it costs companies money to retrain their workforce.
But that's not the only problem, Mampo. HIV/AIDS doesn't just affect companies, it also destroys families.
You're absolutely right, Mandla. HIV/AIDS is leaving families without breadwinners. Young teenagers younger than you, Mandla, are being forced to provide for their brothers and sisters. They are often forced to leave school to find money to survive.
But that's so terrible. Because if they don't get an education, then they won't be able to learn those skills they'll need to find a job. But they can't complete their education because they have to look after their brothers and sisters.
Exactly right. It's a very sad story, Mandla. In South Africa, we have a situation where there are too many job seekers and not enough jobs, and where people are desperate for work but don't have the necessary qualification and skills. There's even more bad news. The job market is also shrinking, which means that there are less jobs available every year.
But I don't understand, Mampo. If the economy is growing, even a little bit, how come there aren't more jobs being created every year?
Good question. One of the biggest reasons is technology.
What do you mean technology?
Businesses are using more and more machines to do the jobs that people once did. Let me give you an example. In the Cape, all the wine bottles stored in wine cellars have to be turned a quarter turn every day.
That's weird. Why do they have to do that?
If you don't turn them, then the wine will taste terrible. So anyway, in the old days, people used to have to do this job. Every day, thousands and thousands of wine bottles needed to be turned a quarter turn on every wine farm in the Cape.
Sure, Mampo, that sounds like a lot of work.
It was a lot of work to do this job. The wine farms would need to employ a whole team of workers to do this one simple job.
So that used to provide a lot of employment. But what happens today? Do they still need to get people to turn all those thousands of bottles of wine?
These days, it's all done by computer-controlled machines. These machines can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't need to rest, they don't need to sleep, they don't even need holidays or sick days.
And you don't need to pay a machine either.
Exactly. By using a machine to do the work that people used to do, the wine farms save a lot of money.
And all those poor people lost their jobs, right?
That's exactly my point, Mandla. More and more jobs are being lost as machines and computers replace human workers on farms and in factories and businesses. Did you know that there are car factories that use machines and computers to actually build the car? They won't even let a person go inside.
Serious?
Serious. New technology makes factories and businesses so much more efficient that fewer people are needed to manufacture the products.
Hello, the future. Goodbye, jobs. But it must only happen in factories because on farms, you still need people to milk the cows, feed the pigs, right? I mean, machines can't do all the jobs that people do.
Actually, mechanization is also happening in agriculture. Machines are in fact used to milk cows and even to work out how much food to give to the animals.
Yo, that's really scary. I mean, in the future, there'll be nothing left for people to do. Everything will be run by one big computer.
Remember when we learned about using an ATM machines in a previous episode?
Sure, ATMs are so cool.
Well, ATMs have also reduced the number of jobs in the banking industry. Remember in the old days, you would need to go to the bank and speak to a real person whenever you needed to withdraw money from the bank.
Hey, I never thought of that before. So ATMs mean less jobs. Hey, they're not so cool after all.
The same thing is happening all over the world. They've invented a new word for this. It's called downsizing. It means a company uses less people to do the same job by using more computers, equipment, and machines instead of people. There's also another way that companies have been downsizing, and that is by using contractors.
Contractors? What are those, Mampo?
Let's say you had a business selling wire cars to different shops all over the country. How do you deliver your goods to those shops?
Oh, that's easy. I'd buy a few trucks, hire a few drivers, and they could deliver all my wire cars to my clients. It's easy.
But wouldn't it be easier just to employ another company to do all your deliveries?
Yeah, I suppose it would be easier, because I wouldn't have to service my trucks or pay my drivers or anything like that. I could just concentrate on making my wire cars.
Exactly, Mandla. More and more companies are outsourcing different aspects of their business. Things like delivery or cleaning.
And that means more people lose their jobs, right?
Certainly. However, outsourcing also creates excellent opportunities for small business owners. Instead of all businesses having their own delivery departments, now all of these businesses employ one company to look after all their delivery needs.
That makes sense. So the guy running the delivery service can make more money, can get more business, and that means you'll be creating more jobs, right, Mampo?
Spot on, Mandla. Next, let's turn our attention to another aspect of technology, which is communication. These days, we can communicate with each other in all sorts of different ways. How many can you think of, Mandla?
Okay. We can use landline, we can use cell phones, we can send SMSs, we can even go on the internet, and yeah, we can even use faxes or emails. There's a lot, Mampo.
Excellent. So you see, these days, businesses, employees, consultants, suppliers, consumers, and contractors are able to keep in touch with each other anywhere in the world. These advances in technology mean that people don't need offices anymore. They can carry everything they need to do business around with them in their briefcases.
Wow, so I could be running my business from Hawaii. All I need is my cell phone and my computer. I like this technology stuff.
Sure. So you see, technology has both positive and negative consequences.
Hey, but school leavers must be worried that the time they leave school, all their jobs will already be taken by machines.
Don't be anxious, Mandla. One needs to study hard and get the best matric one can to increase one's opportunities. Also, you might want to start thinking of opportunities to start your own business.
Don't worry, Mampo. My brain is already working overtime.
There are solutions to the unemployment problem, and we are going to be looking at some of these in our next lesson.
I can't wait, Mampo. Thanks. Ciao.
But in the meantime, why don't you and the viewers out there do a little bit of research? Go out into your different communities and find out the number of people that are unemployed and what's being done to solve this problem of unemployment. By doing this, you might even come up with solutions to this problem of unemployment. Till next time, hi Papatwe.